10 years ago last week, I posted my first video here on YouTube, and it was a flip through of my DIY homeschool planner. Now, I had originally planned to do some kind of special video for this anniversary, but, well, the day snuck up on me. Life has been busy, this, that, and the other. So, as I was thinking about it, I thought, what better way to celebrate my 10th anniversary than to give you a flip through walkthrough of my current homeschool planner. If you're here just to see inside my planner, jump ahead. I will have the timestamp down there for you. Jump ahead. I just want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be here on YouTube for 10 years. Now, when we started this channel, my kids were almost 11, 7, and 5. Now they are heading into grad school, starting 12th grade and starting 10th grade. And one of the things that one of the reasons why I wanted to start a YouTube channel was because, especially at the time, and still now a bit, there were not many channels who talked about homeschooling in middle school and high school. And at the time, Elizabeth was going into middle school, and if you've homeschooled for a while, you probably know that at middle school and then again at high school is when a lot of people return to a public or private school option. And I didn't know what those ages would look like, so I thought, why not start a channel and share with you guys what it looks like. So, now that my youngest is a 10th grader, I had no idea that I'd still be on YouTube. But I'm not just on YouTube. I also have an email list and a blog. My email list, I promise, is not one of those where every email is a sales email. In fact, I hardly ever do. Or such. It's a lot like here. I'm sharing my advice, cracking jokes, sharing favorite resources, etc. Same with my blog. Each place has its own kind of vibe, but at the heart of it, it's still me. Someone who loves homeschooling, has loved embracing a more unique path with homeschooling, searching out those curriculum that you may not have ever heard of or such, and sharing this. I love sharing my experiences and advice and getting to know you, and ultimately what I most desire for you is that you have a homeschool that works for you and reflects your family. And whatever unique things you bring to the table, I want to help you embrace that. So, if my link for my email list is down there, as well as my blog, I would love to have you join me over there as well. And thank you. Thank you for letting me get to know you. I love your comments and your emails, and I reply to them, and I think about many of you often. I was looking at some pictures on Facebook of one of you over there recently who had a big milestone in her family, and thinking about all the different milestones I've watched. I've watched lots of engagements and weddings and kids transitioning to public school, and a couple of you who've had unfathomable losses and joys and births and successes and high school graduations, college graduations. It's a pretty special place to be on the side of the camera, getting to know those of you on that side of the camera. So, all of that said, let's hop over. I guess over there. Actually, my planner's on this side, my desk is over there. Let me grab my planner. Let's hop over there, and we'll look through and see what my planner looks like. Now, I forgot to mention that I am going to leave the link down below for my original video if you want to go see it. I haven't watched it. I'm sure it's probably cringy, but it's still up there and I won't take it down. In it, you'll see the same binder. This binder I used for the first, 10 or so years of homeschooling, and I didn't switch for any reason in particular. I just switched. This one is a little more bulky, but that that really didn't matter. Honestly, that was part of it, but mostly I wanted something different. Anyway, this is what it looked like back in 2020. I need to obviously go through and clear this out. I didn't realize there was stuff still in here until I went looking for this binder for this video. Okay, so this is what I'm currently using. Now, something that you should know, and probably not a surprise if you've been around for a while, is that I've yet to find a binder that or a planner that actually fits what I need it to fit. So, as I do with our homeschool, I have pieced together things using various other resources, and I tweak it every year depending on what's going on. I end up creating a lot of my own pages. So that's what you're going to see. I think all of these pages are over on my blog, so if you want any of them free, I will have a link down below. For years, I kept my homeschool planning and my home planning separate. This is combined in part because my kids are old enough now that I don't keep detailed plans on me for them. So now it's just a little easier for me to keep it all in one place. Now you can see I am using a disc bound planner currently. The cover comes from Plum Paper. I ordered just the covers, and I've got a few different ones that I switch between. At the very front of my planner is my go-to meals list. I love to meal plan, but sometimes I get stuck, especially when we have things come up that I need on-the-go meals, or I've forgotten about dinner and I need something last minute. So this page, currently incomplete, just has some ideas. I do not put everything on here. There's not room, but it's just a spot for me to corral some of our favorite things. Also at the front of the binder lives my year at a glance. On here, I put down anything that's going to affect our homeschool. So things like sports season, musical theater. The musical actually takes place in April, so as we get closer to it, it'll ramp up. Breaks, events that my kids are going to. If we're traveling, when the kids were younger, different read aloud books, I would put in here what we were going to read each month. If I have some kind of special unit like Fat Bears for Katmai National Park, over here in the spring, I clearly haven't finished, but that'll be March Mammal Madness, etc. So this is just a way for me to kind of take a look at all those things that might affect our days and make sure that I have some balance to it from that bird's eye year view. In my Joy in the Mundane section is where I keep the things that I find more mundane, like schedules. I hate schedules, but I need to have some idea. So this page is mine. These two pages are each of my boys. These will change as we go through the year, and activities change and such. I do not keep them detailed because it doesn't matter to me what order my kids do their stuff in each day. This is more for me to keep track of things like soccer, outside classes, activities, that sort of thing. So lunch breaks, making sure we allot for that. This is just my overview of where people are supposed to be, not so much specifically what we're doing. Now, my schedule is a bit of both because I do have some dedicated hours that I work. These are my set hours, and I work throughout the day. Other places where I need to be, but really, this is where we are, not what we're doing. Next up is our year at a glance schedule. In theory, this is also an attendance tracker, but friends, check with me January and see if I'm still using it. However, I do find it helpful, especially at the beginning of the year when we're setting up and I'm making sure that I've got all the weeks figured out and some of those things we already know about. And then I also keep a overview of the bigger picture of what my kids are doing in not necessarily every subject. We'll see what I end up filling out, but week by week, so that I have an idea of things such that, like, if my kiddo has a test in 3 subjects in 1 week, well, then I know that for those subjects that I'm teaching him, that I need to back off. Since I am not teaching most of their classes anymore, it's harder for me to keep track of all of that. These pages do that. Now, in my resources section is where I keep all the things that kind of cause me friction. Meaning, if I need an idea for a book for one of my kiddos, if I have to go online to look at our book lists, suggested ideas, there's a good chance that I'm going to end up scrolling Facebook or such. So, print it out. When I am working on inputting lessons, if I have to be switching between tabs, that's going to slow me down and probably lead to distraction. So I've got all of his things for geography, co-op classes, math with the pacing guide, and again with more of the reading lists and such. I'll go in here. Now, things we do together. Honestly, friends, I should probably pull this section out, but I can't bear to do it yet. I am really mourning a lot in this season. So I'm keeping it in here for now. In the past, it's been those little units that we're doing together or such. This has like our brackets from different Fat Bear Weeks or March Mammal Madnesses. We do the Adopt a Cow program. Every year there's the March Mammal Madness, and so we've got our cows from that in here. I've got the mental math pages that we still do sometimes, not as often. Christmas, old Christmas units. Oh goodness. I don't even remember whose old sheet that was. Oh. Wow. I don't have any idea writing with these. That must have been Elizabeth's. Anyway, there's always treasures in here. Okay, so that's kind of all the extras. Now, let's get into the good stuff. My weekly and daily planning. A couple of things. Yes, these are ones that I've created. Last year, I had a page with just the calendar and then a page that was just a spot for all kinds of different notes. What I found, though, was that I didn't use all of this every month. And then because I didn't, and I had all this white space, I felt like, I felt like I was planning wrong. I was a planner failure. So I combined that this year and have it all in one spot. I have not printed out beyond the 1st of October because I want to give this a few weeks to see what tweaks I want to make on it. I may not end up making any. So far, I'm very happy with it. We'll see. So, first page is just my month. And obviously, I don't put everything in here. These are just homeschool kid-related activities on here. Now, this is where the biggest change is. For the last, 6 or 7 years, I have used some version of this page. It was a weekly page, place for me to jot down my own things I wanted to focus on, upcoming supplies, menu, etc. However, again, I wasn't using a full page every week because, again, my kids are 10th and 12th grade, and I don't need a lot of details on here. So I decided to go back to something that I did with Elizabeth. Elizabeth used a paper planner. Both of my boys use some different versions or different digital planners. Ben uses Microsoft OneNote. Matthew has used Google Sheets. This year we're trying out Google Classroom. So I don't have much in print for them, but I do want to have that bird's eye view of what needs to be going on each month. What things are coming up, important deadlines, tests, etc. The to-do list that I do have for them. Things like I need to choose Matthew's first literature book. I need to finalize plans for the community college. I need to whatever goes on there. And then I have a spot for coming soon, so I know what's coming up if they need certain supplies or books, and then a spot for general notes. Now for our home, this is what I used last year. As you can see, it was a landscape view. I altered it this year to be a portrait view instead. No real reason other than these pages were portrait, so it just made sense. This is a version. This is what I've tweaked from my plum paper planners that I used to use. Up in the top goes my top 3 things that I want to make sure get completed each day. Meal plan, things that are going on with the family, anything that's kid specific, anything that's specific for me, and then the rest. So just what it says, anything else that's going on. Now you'll see that I only have Monday through Friday on here. Our weekends I guard pretty well, so at most we usually only have 1 or 2 things, again, at most, outside of church. So I don't need a lot of spot to plan for the weekend. And then the coming soon is just so I can jot down things that are coming soon, and I don't lose track of them, and I can start thinking about them. August, September obviously is not completed much yet. And then, like I said, October was the last one. By probably Labor Day, I will have a good sense if this is all working for me, and then I will go ahead and print out the rest of the year. When I have things that are coming up that I don't have calendars for yet, I just put them on a post-it note and put them here. And then the back page is just another folder that it was a 3-hole punch folder, and I just used my disc bound punch. These used to live in my 3-ring binder, but I don't use that anymore. So something you didn't see in here was a list of curriculum, or like a final list of plans. Mostly that's because now that I have high school kids, I want to make sure I don't lose that from year to year. So that goes inside my planning for high school planner. This is over my blog. So I have a page for each grade, and this is where I keep it. Their classes and then whatever activities they're doing. But also, friends, honestly, a list of that from year to year I have not found very helpful, especially at the elementary age, because 1, I can remember. 2, like, what's the purpose? Really, like, I know what we used from year to year. And yeah, so I don't know. To me, it feels like a filler page when they're young. Now that it's high school level, I do keep track of it so that I have it when we come to college applications. So friends, 10 years later, this is what my current homeschool planner setup looks like. Thanks for watching today, and always, I'll see you in the next video.